And we are live with another episode of What the Flock podcast. I'm Heather from Tog Hollow Farm and Aviary.
And I'm Sean from Birds by Us.
Today we're just going to be doing a chill episode where me and Sean just talk a little bit about our aviaries, what we've been doing lately, what's happening, and we're going to be talking about like some birds we want to get here in the future, some birds that we don't have any interest in having. So I guess we'll start with talking about what we are doing in our aviaries currently, what's going on. I'll let you take the lead.
Okay, so as of now, wait, are we going to talk about like how many pairs we have or just what we have in general?
Just basically what you've been doing, like yeah, what kind of birds, like what's producing for you, just stuff like that.
Okay, so as of now, I have green cheeks, I have sun conures, I have cockatiels, I have lovebirds. I just started doing I have a pair of African grays and a pair of Goffin's cockatoos. Those are just new to the aviary, so I'm not really like 100% confident in them, just,
Yeah.
get onto the setup and whatnot. But with as far as my cockatiels, I have no issues. Like I've been doing them since the jump, so I already know them like
And
my
you have a lot of pairs on eggs too.
yeah. So and oh, like I said, I'm also getting rid of a couple pairs because like Heather knows I'm getting into green cheeks as well, and I'm buying a couple more pairs and trying to increase my flock on those. And I was trying to get a couple pairs on those green cheeks. I'm not doing the best, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't
Hey,
know.
you're just starting though. You're just starting.
I don't know. I mean, I've learned a lot of new things from Heather as far as diet goes for my birds in general, with chop and setup, lighting, breeding season, and all of that good stuff. I've learned a lot of new things, so I've got them onto chop and whatnot. But I don't know. With cockatiels, I'm going good on because they breed all year round. So I have a lot of pairs breeding and whatnot. But with green cheeks, I have had a pair of sun conures. They had three babies a couple months, I think 2 or 3 months ago, and they're going to be getting back to breeding soon. So we'll see how it goes. And then I have a pair of what's his name, double yellowhead Amazons, and those guys are getting into breeding. So we'll see how it goes. So I'll let it go to you, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, right now, spring is in full swing right now. Pretty much just um as far as like birds go, my green cheeks, I got like four pairs right now that have went to nest. Something exciting. My first turquoise pair has went to nest. I had a turquoise pair like way back when I started, and they just were not compatible like whatsoever. So like I added three new pairs of turquoise that are parent raised, and my favorite is parent raised because I'll tell you, I
Yeah.
have one pair of I have wait, no, not just one pair. I have two pairs of hand fed babies that are breeders, and they suck. I won't say they suck, but they only go to clutch maybe once a year, and like it's just and they want to bite me every time I put my hands in the cage. I just don't like that. When you have a parent raised bird, they're very diligent with their babies. They want to go to nest, they just don't really care for you when you go in there, you do your thing and that's it. And I think that's good. True for most species, parent raised is the way to go. If I any breeders I produce for myself that are going to be in the aviary, I'm just going to do parent raised from now on, because it's just really just the way to go. As far as the other birds producing, yeah, so far I'm looking at 20 eggs from my green cheeks, and
Uh,
my lovebirds. I have 7 babies. I'm hand feeding them. Couple birds going home. I have one pair of cockatiels left, but I'll be getting out of cockatiels here and lovebirds here in the near future because they're just not for me. I'm more into conures. Like I have my duskies, my half moons, my crimson bellies. I just want more conures. Like that's just my thing. I like new world parakeets, and
yep.
yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything's booming, and more pairs are coming of age in the next couple months, and we're gonna see what happens. My sun conures have been hitting the box. My kayaks have been hitting the box. No eggs yet, but they've been in there. And my crimson bellies have been feeding each other and going in the box a lot. That's really exciting. I just am so excited to have my first babies of crimson bellies. That's going to be awesome. But yeah, we'll just move into the next topic. We're going to talk about like some birds that we want to get here in the near future, like what our goals are for like the next year. Because like I'm like super ready to get more birds already. Like I'm ready to fill my bird room here, and then after I fill my bird room, we'll be doing a move here and going somewhere else. I don't know where. I'm looking to get like a farm, some acreage, so I can get more birds.
Do you wanna get an outdoor setup or indoor setup? Because I know a lot of Florida breeders, they have outdoor setups, but I don't know about the weather conditions because I know
Can't I
sometimes
don't think you can.
because
I don't think you can here. I
here
mean, honestly.
the weather gets very, very cold, especially when it snows. I don't want to risk having to lose my pairs.
Yeah, but it literally gets into the negatives here. I don't think you can keep birds like that. I really don't. So I mean, my one of my friends told me that there was a lady in Ohio that had all these cockatoos and big birds, and she kept them outside, like in a half indoor, half outdoor aviary, where like the indoor was like heated to like 60 degrees so they could go in and out whenever they wanted to. And she said like he said that it gets like really really cold, and like because Ohio is pretty similar to the weather we have here. And he said that she was able to do that, and she did that for years. Like obviously she was like an older lady.
So was
Like
she colony breeding, like, or
no, these were cockatoos. So like I'd assume it was all like individual like flight cages that were built into some type of building or a shed or something.
yeah, because I was like saying, so say for example, you said half heated and half not. If half of the room is heated and a couple pairs are here and the couple pairs are there, how would those guys get onto this side? You
I
know what
think they had like doggy doors almost where they could just like go outside
I
whenever they
Oh,
wanted to and then like come in whenever they wanted to, but in the inside it would still be heated, you know what I mean? I don't know specifically because I didn't actually like see what it looked like, but I just heard that like and he knew her and she was doing this for years and didn't have any problems, produced babies, whatever. But like I said, this was an older woman who did this. I don't know if she's still into breeding or whatever. I don't know too much about it. But yeah, so as far as that goes, like when I move, I want to do a nice indoor setup. Like what I really want to do is a specific building per like the type of bird I want to raise. Like say
yeah.
like I know there's like Pioneers and stuff. Like I really want to get into Pioneers in the next year or two because like I love Pioneers. They're declining big time. Like they're
Yeah.
hard to breed. You barely ever see any. Like blue headeds are the most common, but like the bronze wing, the dusky, those are birds that you barely ever see anymore.
I'm gonna sorry I cut you off.
No,
One
it's all
thing
good.
that I'll give you credit for, like I'm saying this on the podcast, and I'll even say this while we're on the phone, like in person, that I'll give you credit for that I like about you. Like money is money, but the thing that I like about you is you do it because like you pick specific species of birds that are declining, like that are going extinct, and you take those and you try to make more of them. Like for example, I believe you were talking about the Illagers macaws or something like that. One of the macaws you were trying to get into, and you said the reason why you wanted to get them was because they were declining drastically. And I didn't say nothing to you on the phone, but I thought about, I was like, damn, like not a lot of breeders will do that. Many breeders do it because there's money involved and they want to do because it's expensive or make a lot of money. But no, I respect you for that.
Yeah, there's only about six major breeders in the U.S. Probably, maybe a couple more, but they're probably not as well known. The six people that do have them are really well known in the bird world. Um, some of them, like, I mean, the prices of them are crazy. Like because these birds, there's hardly any left. But yes, I want to get a pair of villagers, and I want to work with. I like mini macaws in general, but like every macaw really is like kind of on the decline. Some are better than others. Like Hans are really good parents, so like they're not as bad. But I mean, even them, I hardly have seen as many babies in the last couple years. You see them here and there, but you don't see a lot. But as far as the illagers go, I mean, that's a dime a dozen. You don't see too many, and that's really what want to focus on mainly is I like my conures. Like I have Duskies, and there's only 2 or 3 Duskies on the upper East Coast, Dusky breeders on the upper East Coast, and that's like I like birds that are there's not many of, like crimson bellies too. Like you see them, but you don't see a lot of them anymore.
I heard they're very hard to breed. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but they're not easy to breed like a regular green cheek.
Yeah, I've heard that as well, but I think it just depends on setup. I know a lot of people have a certain way they breed birds, but sometimes those old world methods of seed diets and whatnot just don't work. I mean, that's just my
Yeah.
personal opinion. I feed a lot. I mean, I feed seed, of course. I feed seed, but I feed a 1/4 cup a day, which is not much seed if you think about it. It's like if you're doing the ratio of food that they eat, it's like it's maybe 10 to 20% of their whole diet. I feed a free choice pellet, and I feed fresh chop every single day.
Do you give dye or do you give all natural pellets?
My pellets are all natural. I used to feed dye. I used to feed Supreme back when I first started, but the prices skyrocketed, so I stopped feeding to Supreme. I mean, I was paying ridiculous amounts for 2 pound bags. Believe it or not, I was an idiot back when I first started. I was buying these 2 pound bags and paying like 10, $15 for these 2 pound bags when I literally get a 25 to 50 pound bag now for 25 to $30 of Missouri, which is great food.
Yeah.
Um, and the breeder pellets in general are great food, like just formulated for everything. And you need a good pellet if you breed indoors. Outdoors, you get the sunlight, you get the vitamins, but like I mean, the indoors you need a pelleted diet. I mean, there's a lot of people that'll tell you otherwise. They'll be like, "Ooh, pellets." There's that scientifically, that they just made that. I don't know. There's somebody who said that they just made that for marketing. It's a marketing scam or something like that. And I was like, no, I don't think so, because like some of the biggest names out there have said, on pellets. Like I've seen birds that haven't been on pellets that were on strictly vegetables, and they ended up having like real bad arthritis in their later years and had all these deficiencies that eventually led to gruesome deaths. And I don't know the truth about it, but I could tell you right now, my birds are in perfect feather. Like the feather quality, once you feed a great diet, you're going to notice 100%. Once you switch them onto chop, once you switch them onto pellets, you're going to notice that your bird's feathers look way nicer. And I know, Sean, you even told me
Yeah.
you started feeding chop and your bird's feathers started looking a lot better.
It's like they're vibrant. Like I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain it, but I should have taken a picture of the before. And I personally learned the chop off of her. I'm not gonna lie. What I used to do, I wouldn't give chop. I would give like specific veggies, so like squash or like broccoli or kale or something like that, but specific, or you know what I mean. But then when I
Yeah.
Heather was like, Sean, like use the chop and see how it goes. And then from there on, let me know. And then, believe it or not, I started using it, and I've seen a drastic change in the bird's feather quality. I'm not sure if it's just me or not, but like I have a couple birds that are plucked, or they might have had feather issues, and I got them in, and I would start giving them the chop, and believe it or not, the feathers growing faster. Maybe that's just me, but that's what I've seen. And another thing that I wanted to bring on with the dye pellets are one of the biggest things that I've found out talking to bigger breeders that do larger birds is, since the larger birds are a lot more smarter than the smaller birds, I believe. Um, they're more picky, and sometimes with the colored pellets they can pick one color than the other, and they'll end up eating this one, and or they don't eat this one. So a lot of people
That's not
pick
even just with big birds. That's with green cheeks too. I used to have a pair that would never eat the yellows. They would just leave them for whatever reason. They don't want the yellow pellets. They would just eat
yeah
every other color.
I give the Missouri breeder all natural pellets. I think it's Missouri. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's that purple and white bag, right?
yeah, that's exactly what I get too.
Yeah, that's what I feed, and it seems to be working very good. The only thing that I gotta change up on with my pellets is my pellets are a little like they're like this big. It's little chunks, and what they'll end up doing is they eat it, they take it in one foot, they eat it, and the other half that's in their foot, they drop it on the floor, and they make a mess. So I gotta switch on to, I think, the cockatiel size rather than the parrot size, and it'll save me a lot of money, and it'll save me from cleaning them.
Well, yeah, you want to stick with the smallest pellet size, honestly, because you really the other sizing is just kind of the other sizing is a marketing gimmick. I'll tell you that much. And this was from a veterinarian. Like my friend, he has a vet come and see his birds, and the vet pretty much told him, the different size pellets are almost a marketing gimmick. Like your bigger birds, your macaws, whatever, they're gonna eat a small pellet and they're gonna waste less, and and that less waste is gonna save you money in the long run. Because you'll just buy pellets less, and that really helps. Um, but yeah, pretty much a good diet is what we got going on in the aviary, and it really helps, honestly. And I've seen, especially crimson belly conures, I've seen people that feed like not, I won't say a crappy diet, but people that feed a lot of seed and barely any vegetables
Especially sunflower seeds.
yeah, and their birds are 8 or 9 months and they don't have a red belly. My birds have a red belly at 6 months and sometimes before. I mean, and that's because they're on a great diet. I mean, and don't get me wrong, this is our method, and we feed a chop. Some people don't like a chop. They'll tell you to feed a big thing for their birds for their beaks. We live indoors, so I feed a chop because my birds are going to nest at every different type of time of year. I have birds going to nest even in December, November, when it's cold still. The lights down, they'll still go to nest. It's just up to them. They go to nest when they want to go to nest. So, I mean, that's why I feed the chop, because like almost always I need a soft food. So that's why I do it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today's episode. We just wanted to do a little chill episode this week. We got some big things coming up. We have some really cool guests coming up. We're not going to say who. We got some really cool guests coming up to talk about some really cool species that they raise, and it's going to be really fun. Lastly, before we go, I do want to say though, there's something coming out right now that is greatly affecting the bird industry, the pet industry, for people who anything basically other than cats, dogs, and livestock. Um, it's called the Lacey Act, and it's snuck into the America Competes Act. This act pretty much is going to make a whitelist for animals, so they can decide which animals can be imported into the U.S. and transported between states. This ban would literally cripple small businesses such as pet stores, veterinarians that have clients from out of state, zookeepers, people that do bird adoptions, or anyone who owns a bird really is really going to be affected by this, because the limit on the species and what can be transported, because birds are wild animals.
Especially breeders that want to get their hands on other type of birds that they want to increase their stock on. It's going to hurt people like us, mainly because, say for example, right, like you might want to get into the illagers macaws, and you have a breeder down in Florida that could ship them to you for a good price. You can't be able to do that no more because it's going to be illegal at that point.
And not only that, the people that live in remote areas that do like a ton of shipping, it's going to greatly affect them. They're going to be basically screwed out of business, and they're just not even going to be able to do it anymore. I mean, and that's really terrible, honestly. So, what we're going to ask is that you guys write your senators, find out who your senators are in your state. You have two of them usually. Um, just send them an email, send them a letter, call them, be proactive about this stuff, because any legislation that comes out like this is detrimental to the entire hobby, to aviculture in general, to reptiles, whatever, any exotic pet. It's just really terrible. You don't want them passing any type of gateway legislation like this. So yeah, pretty much oppose the Lacey Act and take action. And yeah, we're gonna see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much, guys.